Hello, and welcome to Learning and Becoming the Lab podcast. In this podcast, we talk about ideas, stories, conversations, and experiments that can help us grow in our career and business. Essentially, how we can create value and how we can communicate that value. And in this video, I'll be going through the video, which is very special by someone who I respect in the personal branding space. His name is Omar El-Takrori. He interviews Nehemiah on how you can go from zero to raising $1 million for in a business. So without further ado, I'm going to play the first clip from the interview and hear the thoughts on how it goes.
Somebody is listening or watching this and they're like, I want to make $1 million. Like, what the heck do I do?
Am I able to share two? Or
Dude,
because
run it.
the very first thing that I would do is I'm going to learn sales. I'm going to learn as much as I can about sales. I'm going to go study YouTube. I may listen to Hormozy a lot, myself, like Grant Cardone. Like, I'm going to go commit to learning as much as I can about sales. Then I'm going to go find Omar. I'm going to go find the Nehemiah. I'm going to go find somebody and literally, and I'm only telling you this. So I say all that to say, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find an entrepreneur, business owner. It don't even got to be an entrepreneur that does coaching. Anybody that's selling a product. I'm going to see how I can make the product better, improve the product, and then increase the cost of the product.
Now, one very important thing I find interesting is I used to think about sales as a very biased, bad, thing or bad thing to do in business. And that was actually from a negative experience. However, what changed for me was when I realized that selling is more like you genuinely trying to help people. But people who disrespect it are mostly trying to meet up a quota or just trying to quickly make cash. But one thing I really like about this video is if you're starting from zero, all you have to do is go learn sales, just like you mentioned, where you need to care more about the people who you're serving. I believe you need to find a product that you care about, or find a group of people you care about trying to solve a problem for them. And that way you increase the value of the product. So if a product is being sold for, let's say, $100 and you start learning sales, you can actually sell that product for $300 by adding more value to it, more like an offer. I would have to talk about I have a video on Alex Hormozy. If you want to find out how you can create offers, you can check it out. But essentially, you find a product, create an offer around it, and sell it to people by trying genuinely to help them. And that way, what you're going to do is you're not just focusing about the money that you want to make, but about the people you genuinely want to help. And I also believe this helps you in a way that you're building experience. You don't have to go start worrying about what products do I sell in the market. You could just go to a product. If it's something you want to start doing, you just literally go start selling it. And that way you're building experience. So whenever you're ready to actually start your own product, you have enough ideas, lessons learned so much that you'll be able to transfer that skill into the next venture that you're going to. The next part of the interview, he talks about what he would do next after selling or after learning sales and trying to sell a product for an entrepreneur or business owner. So I'll play the clip now.
My second way is I'll probably would do a workshop every week in webinar. So I would identify what am I extremely good at doing? Am I good at sales? Am I good at content marketing? Am I good? And I will put together a workshop, and I would do a virtual workshop, a 90-minute workshop every week for a year straight. And what this is going to do for you, this one thing has done more for me than anything else. So I say all this to say, do a workshop every single week. What this is going to do is going to make you become a better speaker. What it did for me, it made me become a better marketer. And the reason why you got to become a better marketer, because you're doing the same thing every single week and you got to get new people to show up. So your content got to get better. You got to come up with new content. You got to come up with new marketing strategies for people to show up to this event, right? You got to get good at Facebook ads if you're not, meaning you going to learn to run these yourself or you going to get someone else to run them.
Good.
You got to get good at Instagram marketing. You even got to get good at content that get people to comment and post where you can send them your link. And ultimately, you're going to get good at sales. You're going to learn sales psychology. You're going to learn what to say, what not to say. You're going to learn what's working and what's not working during these presentations so you can adjust them. So
Wow, that's actually very, very good advice. When I first of all came across this idea was through Russell Brunson on .com Secrets. In this book, he goes a lot about, starting an online business. I always recommend this. This idea is also one of the best if you already have a business or if you're looking to start a business. One way to do that is having to create a webinar, a presentation that you do every week. And like he mentioned, it would make you get better at presenting, better at communicating. If your presentation is around 45 minutes and you start with the first variation, a lot of people might tend to ask questions about maybe whatever you're presenting. What you then do is you take all those questions, answer it, and improve it on the next presentation. And you can imagine if you do that for a year, you have 52 weeks, but if you do that for, let's say, 40 weeks in a year, you can imagine the growth that you would have experienced. And I believe this is one of the key things we have to do if we want to, build the online presence, build a business, not just about, selling a product or service, but if you really want to, also grow in content, that would really help you by doing, webinars every week. And the next part of the video is more about content marketing. So I'll play that video right now.
One is thing right now that what's working right now for a lot of people is giving real game. So giving real game in 30 seconds or less ideal, because people attention span is short, or a minute or less, where you literally all right, it's 3 ways for you to get your event space. You can find it, funding, or automated. Step number 1 is fine. You want to go on websites like Crexy.com or LoopNet. You're looking for 1,000 to 3,000 square foot commercial space. Step number 2 is fund it. One of the ways to fund it is use OPM, which stands for other people's money. One of the banks I recommend you guys use is Key Bank. They give a $50,000 no documentation loan with minimum interest for you to get started. Step number 3 in the process is called automate. Hire your virtual assistants on onlinejobs.ph and list the event spaces on Peerspace, Gigster, Verbo. If you guys interested in learning
Now, one thing I find very interesting about this is I've come across a lot of conversations where people say, if I give out all my useful information, what will be left for people to come to me? And on the other hand, I've seen a lot of experts, a lot of people who are actually doing businesses say that when you're giving so much value, people who find you have no choice than to continue with you and also, patronize you if you have a product you're selling. And that way, it's sort of, both. It's more like both sides of the coin, where you just have to try something out and, find out if it works for you. But from what he says in this is every day when you post, you have to make sure that you're giving valuable information to your potential audience. That way, whenever anyone finds you, they're seeing so much valuable information that, they get to subscribe to you, reach out to you, for them to want to work with you. And yeah, I believe this is one of the key information that I found in this video. I'll go on to the next video where he talked about the mistakes he made when he was starting out.
The second one, but the first one is not sticking with continuity. Continuity is everything. You should focus so much energy on getting people to pay you a monthly recurring payment.
Oh, okay.
That's the game. You should.
This is also very important. If you actually start, a business selling products, service, and you're trying to price what your offer is going to be like, and like he mentioned, having a recurrent payment that the customer would pay you is one of the key things. And what that helps do is, if you have a product you're selling for, let's say $300 first time fee, you can actually charge the customer a recurring fee of maybe $50 or $100. That way you're spending more time with them. You're helping, better their business, because the more time they spend with you and you helping them, it will allow that big immersion. Because it mentions that the more time a customer is spending with you, you have enough time to be able to, help them. And it turns out to become a positive down the line, because they could refer you, they could keep working with you if your service is good enough. And the next part of the video is about coaching, why coaching is important.
And I guess people would say, why would you spend $450K to invest in yourself?
Yeah. I pay a coach so I can get there faster, so I can get access to the information that they know, because I would be much further on if I would have started with the right information. If I would have knew about the things, if I knew about buying businesses, if I would have known about equity, if I would have known about real estate, if I would have known about depreciation, if I would have known about cost segregation studies, if I would have known about tech, all these things that I'm learning about, these things from bumping my head, experience, or paying somebody right now.
Yeah.
So I'll tell people, like, and some people don't need a mentor. You go figure all of this out on your own. But for me,
it'll just take you longer though.
Yeah, I'll just like trying to go right to the source and getting it.
And
Wow. This is actually also very important if you're starting out. He mentions paying for a coach, and imagine him making so much money. He said he makes almost 7 figures and he spends $500,000 every year on coaching. And it's amazing that people who are so rich also keep paying, to keep improving. I could remember one time where I talked to a friend of mine and told him I was going to, start a coaching program. I was going to join a coaching program. And he was like, oh, you could find that information online. Why are you going to pay somebody? And the thing my friend didn't know was I was actually paying, 1, for access, 2, to actually ask questions that I have already, encountered, and I believe that I needed someone who was further ahead of me to help me. And what that helped me do was I found the answer to that, and it was, very easy for me because I paid someone who has experienced it and had access to the community that this particular coach has created. So I found my people, I would say, people who were working on the same thing just like myself. Another, story that I have is there's a friend of mine his name is Muiwa. Hi Muiwa. He's currently in the UK. I met him at a conference in Nigeria where we're going to learn how to, buy things from China, sell it to the Nigerian market. He sat close to me, and up to this day, he's one of the best friends that I have. So what this tells you is when you pay a coach and there's a community, or when you pay a coach and there's a community, you're paying not just for the lessons you're getting, but access to meet people who are like-minded just like you. On to the final part of the video, he talks about the importance of having community.
Like I host calls now, and I just go put people on the call, like, we building together. I don't get nothing out of it. It's just I feel good about helping people get to another level, right? And I just like being around good people, man. And I know iron sharpens iron. We had a group where we would meet every week on Zoom. Here's what you did. Here's what worked for me. And we were just sharpening each other's saw. I think everybody should create one of them groups on their own. Like, it's a free pair group where y'all just meet once a week, 2 to 10 people, and just what's working for you, what's not working for you. And if people in there going crazy, doing better, you can't show up with nothing to the table. You ain't got to do what they doing, but now you like, all right, let me go.
That's really good.
Let me get better. I just ran this play. I just did this. I just did that. So it got people in motion.
Wow. This part of, having community is very important. Like myself, I'm sort of new to content, but I find there's sometimes where, you're trying to keep up with, all the tasks that you have to do, the systems you have to create, trying to create content to post, regularly. And I found myself needing a group of people who also do the same thing, that share the same struggles like myself. And what this has made me realize is when you have a lot of people, not a lot, but let's say between 5 to 8 people who are, building just like yourself, it gives you motivation, courage, inspiration that there are people in your corner who are also building and who know, what they're doing. I would not say what they're doing, but who are actually exploring and trying to like get to, to the next level. And what I would recommend is if you're starting out, whatever you're doing, try to find a group of people, a mastermind, an inner circle where you can always relate to it, meet regularly, and that would actually help you, stay positive, because there are moments where you might not have all the strength. They'll be there to, help you out. And yeah, I've come to the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is going to be one of many more videos to come, and I believe this is just a preamble to get to the point where I can bring on guests and interview them. And if you found this helpful, you can like, subscribe, and share to anyone who is also on their journey of becoming. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.